The rain poured relentlessly that evening, drenching everything in sight. The streets glistened under the dim glow of streetlights, and people rushed past with umbrellas, eager to escape the storm. Amidst the chaos stood Emily, clutching the small hand of her 7-year-old son, Noah. Her hair was damp, her shoes soaked through, and in her trembling hand was a pink envelope, the final rent notice. It felt heavier than it should, as though all her burdens were folded inside. Her chest tightened as she read the words over and over, final notice. 3 days to vacate. She tried to breathe steadily, but despair crept into her voice. Still, she looked down at Noah, who was shivering beside her. "It's going to be okay," she whispered, forcing a smile. Her words were shaky, but her son believed her. Children often do. Emily had been juggling two part-time jobs since her husband walked out, leaving nothing behind but broken promises. She worked late shifts at a grocery store and mornings at a laundromat, yet it was never enough. Rent, bills, food, and Noah's school supplies, life demanded more than she could give. As they boarded the bus home, Emily's eyes burned with unshed tears. She thought about her dreams, once so bright, now crumpled under the weight of survival. But when Noah rested his head against her shoulder and murmured, "I love you, Mommy," Emily felt a flicker of strength. Despite her exhaustion, she told herself, "If not for me, then for him, I have to keep going." The apartment was silent except for the dripping of a leaky faucet. Emily unlocked the door, her heart pounding with dread. She already knew what would be waiting. Sure enough, a folded note lay under the door. She picked it up, unfolded it with trembling hands, and read the harsh words, "You have 3 days to pay in full or vacate the premises." The room blurred as tears filled her eyes. She dropped her bag, sank onto the cold floor, and held her face in her hands. Her whole body shook with quiet sobs. For weeks she had fought, hoping something would change, but now it felt like the end. Noah peeked out from the bedroom, clutching his favorite toy car, its paint chipped, wheels loose from years of love. He didn't fully understand the words on the paper, but he understood his mother's tears. Without saying a word, he walked over and placed the toy in her lap. "You can sell this if it helps, Mommy," he whispered. Emily's breath caught. She looked at her son, his innocence, his willingness to give up his most precious belonging just to ease her pain. Her tears flowed harder, but this time from love. She hugged him tightly. "No, sweetheart," she choked out. "You keep your car. Mommy will find a way." It was in that moment Emily realized something profound. Even in the darkest times, her son's faith in her was unshaken. She couldn't let despair win. Not when he was watching, learning, believing. The next morning, Emily made a decision. She had just a few dollars left, and instead of clinging to them, she took Noah to a small diner down the street. "Why are we going out, Mommy?" Noah asked, his eyes wide. "Because," Emily said with a forced smile, "sometimes we need to celebrate even when things are hard." They sat at a corner booth, the aroma of fresh coffee and pancakes filling the air. Emily ordered the cheapest meal, a single stack of pancakes to share. She cut it carefully, giving Noah the larger piece and pretending she wasn't hungry, but the waitress noticed. She saw the exhaustion in Emily's eyes, the worn-out clothes, the way she hid her own hunger. Instead of pity, she offered something greater, kindness. Placing the plate gently on the table, the waitress leaned in and whispered, "This one's on the house today. You just take care of that little one." Emily froze. "Oh, I can't," but the waitress shook her head firmly. "You can and you should enjoy this moment." Emily's eyes welled up. She muttered a tearful thank you, her voice breaking. For the first time in weeks, she felt seen, not judged, not invisible, but truly seen. That plate of pancakes became more than food. It was hope, proof that kindness still existed in a world that had felt so cruel. As Noah happily devoured his share, Emily looked at him and thought, maybe, just maybe, we'll be okay. Emily gathered her things, preparing to leave the diner. As she thanked the waitress one last time, a man sitting at a nearby table dressed in a neatly pressed suit watched the scene unfold. He followed them out the door. "Excuse me," he called gently. Emily turned wary. "I overheard you back there," he said, handing her a business card. "My name's Richard. I run a small printing company. I know what it's like to struggle. I was raised by a single mother myself." Emily blinked in disbelief. Was this real or just another empty promise? Richard continued, "If you're looking for work, come see me. We could use someone determined, someone like you." Her heart pounded. "Why? Why would you help me?" she asked cautiously. He smiled. "Because once someone helped me when I had nothing, and it changed my life." Emily hesitated. Trust didn't come easily anymore, but she saw something genuine in his eyes, compassion without strings attached. She took the card. "Thank you," she whispered, clutching it like a lifeline. That night, lying awake in her tiny apartment, Emily stared at the card under her pillow. Fear battled hope inside her chest. But she remembered Noah's words, the waitress's kindness, and now this stranger's offer. Perhaps the world wasn't against her after all. The next morning, she decided, she would show up at that printing shop. Months passed. Emily worked hard at the printing company, learning every detail she could. Richard proved true to his word, mentoring her with patience. Slowly, her life began to change. She saved enough money to move into a small but warm apartment where Noah had his own little room. For the first time, she could buy groceries without counting every coin. She even laughed again, a sound she thought she had lost forever. One evening, as she turned the key to her new front door, Emily paused. She looked at Noah, who skipped happily ahead with his toy car still clutched in hand, the same toy he once offered to sell. Tears blurred her vision. She thought back to that night in the rain, the landlord's note, the pancakes at the diner, the stranger who believed in her. It struck her, being positive in difficult times doesn't mean ignoring the pain. It means holding on to hope even when everything seems impossible. It means believing that kindness, whether from a child, a waitress, or a stranger, can change everything. Emily knelt down to Noah's level, cupping his face gently. "See," she whispered, "even when life is hard, there's always hope, always." Noah smiled, hugging her tightly. As they stepped inside, Emily realized her journey wasn't just about survival. It was about learning to see light even in the darkest storms. And so the story closes with this truth. No matter how heavy the struggle, positivity and kindness have the power to turn despair into new beginnings. Life often tests us with storms that seem impossible to endure. Emily's journey reminds us that even in the darkest moments, a single act of kindness, a child's innocent gesture, a waitress's compassion, or a stranger's helping hand can spark a chain of hope that changes everything. Being positive in a difficult situation doesn't mean pretending the pain doesn't exist. It means choosing to believe that tomorrow can be better, holding on when giving up feels easier, and trusting that light will break through even the darkest night. So, whenever life feels unbearable, remember Emily's story. Remember Noah's toy car, the free plate of pancakes, the stranger's business card, small acts that carried immeasurable power. Because positivity isn't just about attitude. It's about faith, it's about love, and it's about the courage to keep moving forward when the world tells you to stop. And maybe, just maybe, your smile, your words, or your kindness will be the miracle someone else is praying for.